Welcome back to another video. Today we are rebuilding the Atlanta Hawks after, they just ended up winning the draft lottery. Um, also if you look at this roster, another team that I think is just interesting to rebuild in general, as they're a team that, they're looking to kind of trade away a lot of their pieces at the deadline, and they ended up not making any moves. I was a little surprised by that. But yeah, someone like DeJounte Murray, I think they're gonna keep Trae Young. I think that's a lot more unlikely. But someone like a DeJounte Murray can get traded. I think, especially now with them having the first pick, Clint Capella, I think definitely will not be playing for the team next year. Bogdan Bogdanovic is someone they could look to get rid of. And I don't know. I mean, a bright spot they do have is Jalen Johnson. He had an amazing year last year, breakout season. Um, And yeah, I mean, a little bit of a spoiler for who we're going to take in the draft, but I think this team is going to take Alex Sarr, you know, and him playing center, I think even more so is going to, make Clint Capella's time in Atlanta over. Um, but I don't know. I mean, in terms of years to winning the lottery, definitely not, the best year to win it because of how the class is. Um, but at the end of the day, you moved up from 10 to 1. You can't be mad about it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. This draft class is honestly seen as a really weak draft class, and some of these players in the draft class, I think it will be interesting to see while leading up to the draft where some of these players end up going, because some of these players could go, be a top 5 pick, or some of them could fall to like 20, just because a lot of the players in this draft haven't really, no one's jumped out as being better than the other prospects. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how that's going to go down. We are going to go to the draft really quick, and we are going to take Alex Sarr. Obviously, it's a one video rebuild, but I plan on, at least for this first season, playing it as realistic as I think they will like be in real life. I don't think this team's going to go out and trade for a star player. I don't. If anything, I see them selling. So I think the plan is we're going to do the same thing. Maybe acquire someone in free agency, or acquire someone in the trade. But relatively trying to maybe get some more draft capital. Probably be bad for another year, and then next year we could like really make the jump. Obviously, I don't know how the season's gonna go, but not looking to make too many changes this first year aside from getting Alex Sarr, which hopefully, he could do something for us that would be, show his potential. We're not looking to compete right away this year. Um, and yeah, so free agency, I mean, this team does not have money, so, we can't really go out and sign really anything unless we make a trade. So, like I was saying, some of the main guys I think that will be traded, if there is going to be a trade, is someone like a Bogdan Bogdanovic. I think a lot of teams would like to add his shooting if they're looking to compete. A lot of rumors of him and possibly DeJounte Murray both to the Lakers. So maybe we re-look at that type of trade, see if, we like what we can get out of the Lakers now that they can trade more first-round picks. And yeah, Clint Capella, I think we will find somewhere for him to go. Maybe get some draft capital out of it and like an expiring contract that, he's getting paid $22 million, so maybe someone that's getting paid a lot. But yeah, I'm gonna go out, look for some trades, and I'll show you guys what we end up making, what moves we end up making. First person that we are looking to trade is Clint Capella, as I would like to see him go to a team like the Oklahoma City Thunder. Even though they still have Chet and all that, and they have a really good lineup, I think they could definitely add someone like a Clint Capella. Even if he's just coming off the bench, I think that it's something that they, don't mind trading a first round pick and Obviously, I don't know if this is going to go through, but if they trade a first in Usman Dang for Clint Capella, I don't think they're worried about giving up, someone that they don't really need. I don't think because of how many, young players that they have. I don't think he's going to get the chance to really show it on this team. And they're going to have to start trading these picks eventually because, I mean, they have so many picks that, they're going to have to do something with them. So we're going to see if that works. And instead, they want to give us another first and take Bruno Fernando. So obviously, I'm not going to say no to that. As now we acquire, Usman Dieng and 2 first-round picks for Clint Capella and Bruno Fernando. So we got, a young player that, I mean, in a rebuild like this, where it's going to be, a relatively short rebuild, one video rebuild. I don't know how much it's going to really, matter that we got him, but for a team that's trying to look to, kind of almost rebuild and retool their roster, getting rid of someone like Clint Capella's contract, who has only had 1 year left, for a former lottery pick in Usman Dieng and 2 first-round picks, is definitely something I don't think they mind doing. Now that also opens a spot for Alex Sarr, as right now we have him at center, and we have Onyeka, and obviously we need to get him somewhere in the lineup for him to play. If we have, Clint Capella, it wouldn't have worked out. And so next thing I think we look to maybe trade is we possibly could go out and look to trade either DeJounte or Bogdanovic. And obviously we'll see if there's nothing that I really like. We're gonna just kind of stand pat with the team we have. One thing that is really good about trading Clint Capella is clearing up that 22 million was really good for us. As Usman Dieng only is getting paid 5 mil, so we definitely get some type of money out of that. Which if we go to free agency, we still don't have enough money to really sign anyone. But yeah, so I'm gonna go out and look for some other trades. But that was the first one. Clint Capella moved on from, sent him to a team that I think really could use his size, in the Thunder. And yeah, kind of the plan. Is I think I don't want to end up trading anyone, as I do want to retain a lot of our assets for, if we want to make a future trade for a star player or something. Like I said, trying to keep it, relatively realistic, but, obviously in a one video rebuild, some of the moves we make might actually be a little bit unrealistic, especially with a team that seems like they're quite a bit, from actually, contending. So I think we just go to free agency, sign some players that I think would help out this team, and see how the season goes. The first person I want to bring in is Bruce Brown, as a team that I think is relatively been not that good defensively, obviously, but they could put up a lot of points. I think adding someone like a Bruce Brown would definitely help out the defensive end off the bench for the team. Obviously, if you want to compete, I think Bruce Brown is a player that you definitely want on your team if you're trying to win games. So someone like him, and we also don't really have many, small forwards. So I think adding someone like a Derrick Jones would also be pretty decent, just for, kind of filling the role for now, as we don't know for sure what's going to happen with Sadiq Bey, as he is a RFA, but we don't know what's going to happen. I do also want to move Usman Dieng to a small forward also. So we kind of have some options, obviously. I don't know for sure we'll bring in Derrick Jones, but it's definitely an option, as I think we have a lot of pieces on this team, and we will have some depth. So yeah, we do end up bringing in Bruce Brown. I'm going to decline, even though we just offered it to him for Derrick Jones. I'm going to wait and see what happens with Sadiq Bey before that happens. Hopefully, obviously, he isn't signed before then, if anything. But I do want to see what happens with Sadiq Bey, as, we can't offer him a contract ourselves. And so, or as you see, he does get a contract offer of quite a bit of money from the 76ers, and we're going to match the offer. So we will not be bringing Derrick Jones, but I think this is kind of the lineup we're going to have this season. I don't think we're going to need anyone else out of free agency. As you know, we got Onyeka, we got Alex Sarr, Jalen Johnson, we got DeAndre Hunter, Sadiq Bey, Ousmane Dieng, and AJ Griffin can kind of work in to find who's going to get some minutes there. And, DeJounte, Bogdan Bogdanovic. And then we have Trae Young and Bruce Brown kind of at the point guard position. Maybe we get a jump from Kobe Buffkin. And then maybe, he could find a role on this team. But yeah, so that's kind of free agency. I don't really want anything else, so we're just going to, go through it. Player progression. Bogdan Bogdanovic goes down. Not much else really happens. I mean, Ousmane Dieng goes up. A lot of that being from changing his position, I think. But yeah, so we're going to go to next season, and I'll see y'all when we make the lineups and figuring out, who's going to be in starting positions and the bench and all that type of stuff. So this is kind of the rotation that we're running, a 10-man rotation. We got, Ousmane Dieng inside the rotation, who we got in the Clint Capella trade. And we're going to be starting Alex Sarr over Onyeka. Honestly, I really feel bad for Onyeka. Kind of sucks that, the highest minutes per game he had was this season of 25 minutes per game. And, I feel like as a former 6th pick in the draft, he hasn't really got a shot because he was playing behind Clint Capella. And then, finally when it kind of seems like, the team's going to move on from, Clint Capella, they get the first pick and they end up drafting a center. So I feel like it kind of sucks for him. But obviously we'll see how Alex Sarr plays in the starting lineup. If he, isn't working out too well, then we will switch Onyeka into the lineup and take him, back to the bench. But I kind of want to start the season with Alex Sarr. As you can see, though, outside the rotation, we have, AJ Griffin, Kobe Buffkin, and Muhammad. I'm not even going to try to say the last name because I'm going to butcher it. Not going to lie. I know who he is, but I've never actually heard his last name pronounced. So, not the point. But we have, two former, well, I mean, outside the lottery barely, but two young players that definitely, I think, if we do look to trade for a star player, if we're packaging, some of our other players with one or two of them as, two young players going to a team that's like possibly a rebuilding team that's trying to move on from, like, if they have a star player, then they're at least getting something out of it. But yeah, so that's the lineup we're running for now. I'm going to sim, obviously, to the trade deadline, and we're going to see what kind of is going on up until the trade deadline. So as you can see, at trade deadline, we have a record of 36-16, and way better than I expected, as we are the first seed. And so I don't know, maybe we make a move at trade deadline to, kind of make us even better. Trae Young's having a really good season. DeJounte Murray, his points per game is down. His assists per game, his rebounds per game. So, I mean, he's shooting more efficient from the field, worse from the three, better from the free throw line. But, he's not doing as much for sure. Jalen Johnson, I mean, I wouldn't take too much into this because his 16 points per game last season was, when Trae Young wasn't playing too much, and there was just a lot going on, honestly, with the team, and he had a lot more of a scoring load. So I don't really mind him averaging 11. Onyeka, he's playing pretty decent considering he's, only playing 23 minutes per game. Bogdan Bogdanovic, he's honestly not playing too good at all. I mean, his minutes per game is way lower than what he usually gets, but I mean, even if you have his per 36 stats, it's still, lower than any season he's had. aside from his first season in the league as a rookie. Alex Sarr is playing actually pretty good though. So, I mean, he's shooting terrible from the three and terrible from the free throw line and terrible from the field even as a center. That's pretty bad. But stats aren't that bad. Um, you would like to obviously see him playing better, but you know, it is what it is. Ousmane Dieng is actually going up in overall a lot. He's not really doing too much though, but yeah, so obviously I want to maybe look to make a move at the deadline right here. Especially with how DeJounte is playing, I wouldn't mind adding him into a package to maybe try to get us a star player. Um, and maybe that alone could get us over the hump and win in the first year even, which I did not even expect us to be competing this year. But we have, some draft capital. And then we have, a lot of players on this team that I don't mind moving on from. So I'm going to go out and look to see if there's a player that makes sense for us to trade for and see if we can get him. As I was going through to look at what to trade, I saw that, we have a really good pick that we got in the Clint Capella trade. A swap best between the Clippers and the Thunder. And, the Clippers are really bad, and obviously it didn't work out. And James Harden and Paul George both end up leaving. So guess who's next? Kawhi Leonard. And they probably want their pick back too. So they're also getting DeJounte Murray and Bogdan Bogdanovic. So it's not like they're completely getting nothing. I don't know for sure if they're going to accept this, obviously. But, it's kind of like the framework of a trade. I said I was going to have a realistic, off season and all that type of stuff. And I think this is also, maybe a realistic trade, at least for the Clippers. As, obviously if James Harden and Paul George are leaving, I don't think they're going to want to keep Kawhi, and I don't think Kawhi wants to stay. So, we're going to see if they accept this, as they do. And now we just made our big trade to go out and get Kawhi Leonard, which means we have to compete now, though, because he is 33. So we are going to obviously then now have to make, I think, another move to try to get a shooting guard to pair with, losing all that. And I think a big part of losing, both of our shooting guards in that trade, acquiring Bones Highland, I think, back is really good. As he can now, I think, be our backup point guard and move Bruce Brown to the 2. So I really like that trade for us, as we also, like I said, get Bones Highland. And now we have a lot of assets, I think, to go out and try to get, a pretty good shooting guard for our team if we want to compete. So I'm going to go out and make that move next, hopefully. And I know, a little bit unrealistic, but hey, it's only for entertainment purposes, for all fun. Obviously, are they going to go out and get Kawhi Leonard in real life? Hell no, they ain't going to get no Kawhi Leonard. But it makes it at least a little bit fun. So I'm going to go try to make another move and see what happens. Next, we're going to be obviously trying to get a shooting guard, I think, to fill the hole that we lose in DeJounte Murray. And I think a perfect team to go out and get a guard from is, the Trailblazers, who they have Scoot Henderson. They also just drafted Rod Dillingham. And they have, Shaedon Sharpe still. And so Anthony Simons, who is 25, still relatively young, but I definitely see there's a chance that they end up trading him just because they kind of have, their guards of the future on this team. So in return, they would be getting, DeAndre Hunter, a first, and AJ Griffin. Now, I don't know if they'll accept it, obviously, but, they have Jeremy Grant. But aside from that, I think AJ Griffin could definitely get a bigger role on this team. And DeAndre Hunter, who could play small forward or power forward for them, also I think would be a really good piece on this team. And, they get a first round pick. So they also end up accepting the trade. So now we have a legit starting lineup. And yeah, I mean, the one person I don't want to trade in this video for sure is Alex Sarr. just the whole point was showing that they had the first pick and seeing obviously, I guess, what the first pick does for them. Could they trade it in real life? For sure, but I think he will obviously be staying, as I think this is the team we're going to obviously run with, and I don't think we really need to make too many other moves. If anything, maybe getting a backup power forward, or actually we can move, I think, somebody over to power forward. Maybe Usman Dieng, you can go back to power forward. And that's kind of, I think, the rotation now. We still have Kobe Buffkin in a lot of first round picks. So obviously, hopefully we could get it done this year. If we don't, though, we do actually have a lot to, I think, end up getting it done next year. The only problem that we would have is that Kawhi Leonard is older. And if we don't win this year, his overall could for sure drop. So we're on kind of a ticking time bomb until our window closes. But yeah, so I'm gonna finish the rest of the season and see if this team has what it has what it takes to win a championship. Now with the season over, Luka ends up winning MVP. Alex Sarr ends up winning Rookie of the Year. So we ended up having Rookie of the Year. Now how worth it is it? I don't really know. I mean, if you look at his field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, and free throw percentage, it is really bad. But he still ends up winning Rookie of the Year for us, so we'll take it. KPJ makes his return to the NBA and wins Sixth Man of the Year. DPOI Wemby, I think in every video I've ever done on 2K so far, Wemby has won it every time. And every time I play a solo My League, he wins it for like the next 10 years straight. And I'm honestly, I don't even blame him, because, I mean, he's not a real human. He is an alien. Trace Jackson Davis wins Most Improved. Clutch Player of the Year, Zach LaVine. Coach of the Year was the Thunder coach. And same with their executive, as they go 70-12. So Clint Capella finding success over there, as they almost, break the record for the best record of all time. We did have Trae Young make an All-NBA team, as he averaged 26 and 10, shooting almost 50, 40, 90. Couldn't get that free throw percentage up there to 90%, but it happens. Aside from that, we have Kawhi, who made All Defensive second team, as his points per game has, went down significantly. Well, not too crazy, but still like the acquisition of Kawhi. He also brings a lot of defense. Alex Sarr, rookie team, and that's it. So that put us as the number 2 seed in the playoffs, as we will face off against the Magic in the first round. Team of, Jalen Suggs, Malik Monk, Franz Wagner, Paolo, Jalen Duren. So relatively same team. They got Draymond, Jalen Duren, and Malik Monk, though. Aside from that, they are relatively the same team. Got Taurean Prince. But I definitely think our team could definitely take them on and win. As, Anthony Simons also, his scoring did go down a bit, but expected when you're playing with another guard that gets the ball a lot. So I do really like our lineup, and I think we could definitely go out and win this first round. So no change to the lineup. They win game 1. They win game 2. They win game 3. So now we actually might have to make some changes to the lineup, as we will be running a 9-man rotation, and we're going to bump up the minutes for a lot of our guys. I don't mind keeping him in minutes, but aside from that, I would like to, get some of our guards some more minutes, and hopefully we cannot get swept in the first round, as that would be tragic. I can't lie. We win game number 4, win game 5, we win game 6. So game 7, going to Simcast. Can we bring it back from down 3-0? As it's a close game. And now we have the lead. And we end up winning. So, I definitely doubted. I can't lie. I definitely doubted as we come back from 3-0. So now we're playing the Knicks. They got Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, OG Anunoby. They have the same team. Yeah, they have the same team. So can we beat the Knicks? A little scary first round for sure, but we started playing our starters a lot more minutes, and they ended up getting the job done. Kawhi Leonard, that is not what we want to see in the playoffs or even in a Game 7 scenario. So that's not very good. Hopefully we can beat the Knicks. Game 1 we win. Game 2 they win. Then we win Game 3. Then we win Game 4. Then they win Game 5. And we close it out in 6. Let's hope the Bucks could win. I'm rooting for the Bucks to win because I'm not trying to play, the Cavs. The Cavs and the Thunder are like my kryptonite, and I think everyone's kryptonite in my league. I mean, they are, for some reason, they're just really good teams. So yeah, they have relatively the same team aside from adding Vucevic and Oubre. And yeah, so playing, the Cavs team that they have in real life, for some reason in 2K, they're really good. Hopefully we can pull it out though, as they win Game 1, we win Game 2, they win Game 3, we win Game 4, we win Game 5, they win Game 6. So now we have to go to, to the Game 7. And they get off to an early lead on us, and it looks like they're not slowing down as they're up by 30 right now. So yeah, we get absolutely crushed in the Game 7 as Thunder absolutely walk through them, and we will obviously be playing a second year now because gonna get done the first. Honestly, we are in a way better spot than I expected us to be in anyways. So we'll see what we can do in the off season. Hopefully, we can maybe try to get another star player or something. And hopefully that could help us get it done as LeBron retires, and I already vetoed it last year, so looks like LeBron is done. My recording didn't start when I started free agency, so we didn't do too much. We got Malcolm Brogdon free agency, and aside from that, I mean, we had the draft, which I wasn't gonna show anyways because we only had a second round pick. And then we retained, Bones Highland, and we re-signed Jalen Johnson. Aside from that, everything's the same. But I think this is a move that I'm interested in doing. They accept it, and we move on from Bones Highland. Here, I'll go to the transaction report. So, trading Sadiq Bey, Onyeka, and Bones Highland and a first, and we are getting, which it doesn't even say what we get, but we are getting Bam Adebayo. As now I would like to see Alex Sarr move over to power forward, maybe for us, and then we could, have him either come off the bench or start over Jalen Johnson. And now we have a legit center. Alex Sarr wasn't too good last year, and kind of like I was saying on Onyeka, he hasn't really got the true role. So I guess now that he's going to the Heat and he's really going to be the only center, he's getting that true role. So now I think the biggest thing this offseason is getting some depth, as we don't have a backup center or power forward. I don't know if I want Alex Sarr at power forward or center yet. Right now I have him at power forward. But then if we can get, a backup small forward, and then a backup big man would be good. I don't mind going out here and signing, a, someone like Mo Bamba actually instead. I would rather have, as he is a little bit younger. we don't have money to really go out and get anyone. So if anything, we would maybe have to, trade like Kobe Buffkin and, like a second round pick, and we could probably go out and get, a relatively decent backup center or something, which I actually don't mind looking out to see if we could do that. Um, Looking around the league, maybe somebody like a Marvin Bagley, I wouldn't mind. Um, who else could we maybe go out and get? I mean, Wendell Carter, we probably don't have the money for. Um, there's not too many options, so kind of looking around, it is a little bit harder to do. Um, but maybe somebody that we could find, who knows? An Andre Drummond type of guy, I actually don't mind if they would accept this. I don't know if they will, and they won't. So maybe if we add in another second, they still won't. If we add in a third second, they still won't. So they really want Andre Drummond, as I'm pretty sure they signed him last season. So maybe we go out and get a backup power forward instead, and then we could end up moving Alex Sarr back to, center and just, have a backup power forward. Maybe we can go out and get someone like I think an interesting role we could have is someone like a Payne Watson if they came to our team. And I don't know if they're going to end up giving him up. Oh, they do. So I actually don't mind Payne Watson. I think me personally, I really like Payne Watson, as I think he is, someone that will grow even more the longer he's in the league. Ousmane Dieng, we will move back to small forward. So now we have, I think, a decent rotation going for us. And, go get some more depth in free agency that I won't really show. Probably just show you once we get to the season, as it doesn't really matter too much. As none of these guys probably are going to get PT. And then, we will obviously set our rotations and hope that we could win the upcoming season. So before the season starts, kind of lineup that we're going to go with. What you missed, I guess, in progression is Jalen Johnson went up, I think, like 2 overall. Alex Sarr went up to an 84. Malcolm Brogdon went down 1. But aside from that, nothing much really happened. And I think this is actually a really good team that might actually end up getting it done. Obviously, no one is safe. If there's a move we like at the deadline, we could definitely look to upgrade our team. But obviously, we're going to see how it goes in the sim. At trade deadline, we are 38-12. I don't know. Maybe we can try to look to make like a big move where we move like Anthony Simons and kind of get like an upgrade there. Just because he is not playing too good. But aside from that, I think if not, we could just keep the same team. So Anthony Simons, we still have a lot of firsts that we could end up, using. So I think if we go out and use all of them, there's kind of 2 names that I don't mind trying to go out and get. Obviously, depending on money, we could only really get people like in the, obviously, because he's getting paid 27, plus the 2 mil from Muhammad, almost around 30 mil. So we can get around that number. As someone that I would like to go out and try to get. Obviously, I don't know, if it's going to actually go through or anything, but if we can go out and do it, it works. And we get De'Aaron Fox. So I didn't really expect it to work, but it did. And, relatively short backcourt. But honestly, I feel like with Anthony Simons, it wasn't much different. So you might as well buy into, like, the full thing, right? If you're going to go with a smaller backcourt, at least have an upgrade, I guess, right? So there we go. I think this is the full team we're gonna have for the rest of the season, obviously, and hopefully this team is good enough to win a championship, as we have 490 overalls. So we are going to sim and see if that puts us over the hump. Season's over. Shea ended up winning MVP. Playing for the Thunder, hopefully, is a team we don't have to see in the finals. Because, yeah, I am scared of the Thunder. Them and the Cavs are like the only two teams I'm actually worried about ever in this game. Rookie of the year, Patrick Webb obviously didn't import a draft class, but sixth man of the year did go to Alex Sarr. Shot way more efficiently, had a way better year. On limited time, he played actually less minutes per game and had a better stat line. So really like Alex Sarr, how he's played in the second year. Wemby, DPOY, most improved. Scoot, clutch player of the year, Jalen Brunson. And then coach of the year and executive of the year goes to us after going 68 and 14. So hopefully that could help us, get it done finally. De'Aaron Fox ended up making All NBA third team for us, who we traded at the deadline for. So we'll see how that, helps us out, as we are the number 1 seed. We'll be playing the Nets. The Nets have Josh Giddey, Davion Mitchell, who they brought in. They brought in Yusuf Nurkic, Isaiah Jackson, Anthony Melton. So they brought in a lot of different guys to the team, and they ended up making the playoffs. Game 1 we win. Game 2 we win. Game 3 we win. And Game 4 we win. So we get it done relatively easy. Now we will be facing the Charlotte Hornets, who have relatively, the same team, aside from, getting Stephon Castle, I think this is actually, and I don't know why it's spelled like Cassell in this game, but they got him. They brought in Franz Wagner. I think that was probably a free agency move rather than a trade. Brought in Marvin Bagley, so they're a decent team, but I mean, they're not like our team at all. I mean, our team, I think, is way better. So yeah, we I think can hopefully get this round over with relatively easy, as we go up 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, and hopefully. And they do. The Thunder get eliminated. So the team I am scared about gets eliminated. So I'm feeling good now. 76ers, they have a team of Tyrese Maxey, Paul George. Somehow they were able to get Matisse Buzelis, who fell to 16 and they had the 16th pick. So they end up getting him. They still have Joel Embiid. Relatively same team, brought in some different guards off the bench, and then they have, some young guys that they drafted. And aside from that, it's relatively same team with Paul George. That's right, they did bring in Paul George. Hopefully we can get it done as we go up 2-0, 3-0, 4-0. So far we've swept every series, and now we are playing the Kings, who Anthony Simons we traded to, and we got De'Aaron Fox in it. So kind of looking at the starting lineups, I mean, our team looks like an all-star team. We built a really good team here. Hopefully we could win it all as they go up in Game 1. We take Game 2, take Game 3, take Game 4, and we take Game 5 to win the championship. De'Aaron Fox ended up winning Finals MVP, who we traded for. Only averaging, 20 points per game, basically. A lot of the scoring was down in the playoffs for a lot of our guys, but we ended up getting it done. Built a really good team here with, Kawhi Leonard, De'Aaron Fox, and Bam coming to the team. But, I kind of said relatively realistic in the first year, and then it kind of went off track completely, because Do I think they would ever build a team like this? Hell no. At least not this quick. But yeah, so just a rebuild for the team that happened to win the draft lottery. I think they're gonna keep Trae Young. Jalen Johnson, I think, is someone that will stay around for the future. And I think they're going to draft Alex Sarr. So we kind of keep, I think, their main three guys that they will have in the franchise in real life. And yeah, so thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.